Hey babes, it's Jenny Procopi here with another AWAP Wednesday. Welcome to my home office. This means we're going to talk about work today. So for those of you who are new or haven't heard, AWAP stands for as well as possible, which is what I always hope for you, that you're doing as well as possible. So without further ado, let's dive into today's question. It comes from a fellow chronic babe, and she asks, do you disclose to your clients that you have a chronic illness up front? I am self-employed and suffer from fibromyalgia. I often want to disclose my illness, but fear that it may be a turnoff or even a deterrent for clients to hire me because they may perceive it as a weakness. Thanks. No, thank you. That is a great question, one that I get asked all the time. So I'm very happy to answer it and talk about it. So the very simple answer to that question is yes. I often disclose. I mean, I've got chronicbabe.com as a big project I've been doing for 8 years. So it's not surprising that my clients often know about it already if they've done their homework on me. If they haven't, the way that I disclose that I have fibromyalgia often comes up very organically in our conversation. So here's how I like to have it play out. Okay, so let's say you're having an initial conversation with a potential client and you're talking about the timeline for a project. Let's say they tell you that they think that it will take a week. You would like to build in a cushion. You would like to add an extra 2 days to the deadline schedule. So for example, if I were having that conversation and the client said, I think it's about a week's worth of work, I would add 2 more business days to that project. And that is how I would plan out my timeline with them. And then if they ask me why I want those extra couple days, and most people will not mind, if it's an urgent project, that's a different scenario. But in a typical project, if you explain, well, you know, I have a couple chronic health conditions, it's not a big deal. I build in a cushion so that I can always deliver to you on time. Most clients are totally fine with that. In fact, they're glad that you're being upfront about it and not surprising them with it midway through the project. So can you see how that kind of comes up a little more organically? It's not, hey, I'm Jenny, I'd like to be your freelance writer. Oh, and I have fibromyalgia, so all the projects are going to go slow. It's more like, hey, I'm Jenny, I'd love to be your freelance writer. Looks like we have a good deadline schedule. Let's make sure we build in a little cushion to make sure that we meet everybody's expectations. Oh, you'd like to know why I need an extra cushion? Well, I just want to make sure I always deliver. And I have chronic health conditions to manage. And sometimes that means I need a little extra time. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. My feeling is if a client or potential client doesn't like that and has a problem with it, then you know what, I'll say to them what my sister taught my niece to say to the bully at her school, which is, get lost, creep. No, I really wouldn't say that to a client or potential client. But I don't need them. I don't need to work with people who can't handle that I need a little cushion in my timeline. Because some people build a cushion into their timeline for no reason, just because they want to go slower. I think there's a difference between entering a negotiation and a conversation with a potential client and just announcing right up front, hey, I'm sick. Because yeah, that's probably going to freak them out if you're focused on that right away. I like to wait and see if it comes up organically and slide it into the conversation and see what their reaction is, and then you know if you're going to have a problem or not. Let me add to this that there are a couple organizations and people out there who offer great advice to those of us who have chronic illness and have employment issues. You can look up Rosalind Jaffe. I'll put the link right down below. She's at Keep Working Girlfriend. She's a great book about this topic, and she blogs about it, and she does coaching. She's pretty rad. And then the Jennifer Jaff Center, which is also right there. They offer all kinds of legal guidance and assistance. So if you do feel like you're running into an employment situation and you're being discriminated against or you're not getting the accommodations you need, they may be able to help you, either represent you or help find you representation. It's a pretty simple answer to your pretty succinct question. I don't know if it's what you're looking for, but that's how I've handled it. I really feel like my clients know that I have chronic illness. They don't think it's a big deal. They respect the fact that I build a cushion into my timeline. And then Once you've had that initial conversation, if you have that moment where you are sick and you do have to go over deadline, which every human being on earth has, every business owner, entrepreneur gets sick every once in a while. When you do have to make that phone call or send them that email that you're not feeling well and that you're going to blow a deadline by a day, it's not as big a deal, because you won't have been blowing them all along because you're sick. You'll have been building time cushions into your timeline. So the very rare occasion when you do blow a deadline or need to get an extension, it won't be a big deal. And then your clients will really respect you and see you as a human being like they are, and feel connected with you and build a rapport that leads to really long-lasting client relationships. Okay, babes, I hope you've liked this AWAP Wednesday today. It's definitely something that I think about a lot as a freelancer with almost 12 years of experience. I definitely have done this the wrong way and done it many ways that have worked for me, and the best way is to keep it mellow. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have questions ever, I am so happy to help you. Just go to chronicbabe.com and you can submit your question. You can put your question in the comments below, either on YouTube or Facebook or here on the website. I'm always happy to answer your questions. So thanks for being here. It's another AWAP Wednesday at Chronic Babe HQ. Until we meet again, be AWAP. Beep. I don't know what I'm talking about.